Hey, welcome to Bears Banner. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Today on the broadcast, you have Guy Moore, Dr. Quick Alton, and Jay Beasley. How y'all doing today?
Great. We ain't injured.
I'm good.
All right.
And I'm not cold because I couldn't go to the game today. I couldn't do it.
Oh, man, you supposed to be out there braving the elements. Come on, man.
I couldn't do it.
Hey, you
couldn't do it.
You couldn't
If
do
we
bad
were
weather
first place,
today,
you'd be
Jay?
there.
Say it again.
You couldn't do bad weather today?
Bad weather? No, I couldn't. If that's what they want to call it bad weather, I couldn't do it today.
If we were in first place, he'd have been out there, like with the dude with his shirt off. Yeah.
Right, because like I explained to the guys, if we was 11-3, I'd have been there. But 3-11, -15 at kickoff, I couldn't do it. 25-mile-per-hour wind, I couldn't do it today.
No, well, some people that ain't black standing out there in the cold like this. No, that's okay.
And they would have tickets, and people were actually selling their tickets. You could have got a ticket for $5. Mm-hmm. That was the lowest price that I saw today. It was like $5, $8, $12. People was it was cold today, man, and I couldn't do it. Right, free? Right. Free 99, as my boy said. Hey, I got a ticket, free 99. But yeah, I couldn't do it today, man.
Still be trying to get it.
Hey, the Bears fall today 35-13 to Buffalo Bills. The score, I know, didn't break open to the end of the game, but from my perception, it was almost like the Bills were kind of like toying with the Bears. Even though the score was 6-10 at halftime, it seemed like the Bills that was just kind of like self-destructing, basically more so than the Bears. Bears had 3 turnovers, couldn't do anything with it. 2 interceptions and a fumble. They actually got 0 points out of those turnovers. And this may be the second game this year where the Bears actually they was 3+ in a turnover and didn't win the game.
Yeah. And it's one of the things, like I texted out earlier. I'm like, if this team was better, if this was a better team, we actually probably would have been up by 2 scores early in the game, but because we're bad, they couldn't take advantage of the turnovers. The offense was stagnant after the first quarter. They moved the ball pretty good in the first quarter, and then Bernard, I think you texted, it was like after halftime, which the Bears have led at halftime a few times, but they come out in the third quarter like the 90-something Bulls. They come out in the third quarter and just can't do nothing. And then all of a sudden the game get away from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. Looking at the Bears defensively, they did look like they got a little bit after Josh Allen as far as in the pass game, but they really didn't have to pass in this game because whenever they ran the ball, it was like tons of yards in front of them. Morrow was several times, he just was in the wrong gap. Right near the end, he seemed like he was confused, like where he was supposed to be at. That's kind of, I don't know. Maybe he was too cold. I don't know.
Yeah, he had a brain freeze, like he was at 7-Eleven or something. I don't know.
Man, like I said, a couple years ago, I said it was so cold. Some racists would tell you to go back to Africa and take him with you. He's just cold. It's cold. It is. I went. Was it day before yesterday? It had started snowing. It really wasn't that cold, but the snow was cold
Thursday
because they hadn't shoveled.
Thursday.
Yeah. Well, it's Thursday. It was the day before. Yes. It is Saturday. So yesterday, I had to go to work. Man, I walked outside, and as soon as I hit that air, I was like, Lord. So I can imagine, even though it's a little bit warmer, I can imagine just having on some pads and a t-shirt trying to play ball. But that's why they get the big bucks.
Right.
Yeah.
And that ground.
And they say
that ground had to be so hard.
You live in Chicago if you know how to walk backwards in the wintertime, because
that's
coming in Chicago, you're like, man, let me turn around and walk backwards.
See, we do not have that problem in my country. We have to think positive thoughts, and we have to think that it is warm all the time. We play football, but it is with round ball and black spots on ball. We do not play this stuff here. It's too cold. I never like cold weather. No. And not get jiggy with that.
Oh, no.
No, not at all. No. No, there's no way in my country we playing in this stuff right here. We know we see white stuff, we say, oh, cow have bowel movement. Yeah. No, we don't do that. No.
Have gas will travel. Have gas will travel.
Yeah. Cow, a lot of cows.
Thank
Lots of
everybody
cows
who's
have
watching us
bowel
on
movement.
YouTube and Facebook. What's that, Mike?
Lots of cows have bowel movements at the same time. All this white stuff on the ground. Bad farm. Milk does the body good. No.
If you were from my country in Kazakhstan, you would say, this is nothing. This is just kick. I go out there in my skivvies and I hang out and I have my Wiener Schnitzel and my vodka and I am very fine. But it is colder than a witch's chest is today.
No. It reminds me of.
Did y'all see anything? Did y'all see anything in this game that we could build off in this game? I did.
Yep.
You know, the only positive I got off this game was Velus Jones finally came up. Some positive. You know, he actually, I think he had 2 receptions for about maybe 52 yards. He caught a deep ball, made a great adjustment on the ball in the air, and he had some nice kickoff returns.
It's only
maybe he
one
kind of felt the
reason
pressure
why.
from last week.
One reason why he is only player today playing with one bad name. Only reason why. No Equanimous, no none of that. He's the only player playing with one bad name. So Bears, we can only have one guy with one jacked up name on roster at one time. That's it. We cannot do this. You know, we cannot do this.
I know we don't bag on people. I don't bag on people with names, man. But how you gonna be Equanimous or whoever, Sun Ra, whatever, your name John Brown?
Yeah, it's very bad. This is very bad. The only thing I saw today, you asked what did we see in game today. I saw very many white guys out there with no shirts on. I was like, they crazy. They are crazy. No way. And I look for Jay Beasley out in the crowd.
You weren't gonna see me.
Beasley say, black guy, don't do that.
He said, hell to the no.
Black guy,
not today.
Black guy got on Snuggie. Black guy got on Snuggie.
Not
hey,
today.
Man, I did see something today, man. I think your boy Velus picked the wrong receipt up at Applebee's and looked in his lock and saw it was pink and thought he was going to get fired. And that dude played, man. He played like he thought he was about to get cut. Because Velus Jones.
If you see the show Survivor, if you're the only one out there, you have to do something. Everybody else is hurt. He's the only one that Fields can throw the ball to. So he had.
And then this is actually his opportunity to try to prove that he should be on this roster next year. Because the bottom line is, even though you're a 3rd round pick, dude, you have not come through this year. But today, when I text y'all, I was like, that route that he caught the deep ball on, he came from the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Just to put that ball out there, he put the ball out there where he was the only person that can actually run and catch that football. Yeah. And he actually caught the ball. And his kickoff returns today were good. So it was a positive sign. He got a couple of more games to prove that, he can belong. But, I mean, this roster, man, we said it at the beginning of the year, but this roster is bad. This roster is bad, and they need a lot of help offensively and defensively, man. Our linebackers are a no-show. Outside linebackers, the Will. I mean, Sam Bourne went there today, but our linebackers are bad. They are bad.
And our offensive line didn't do all that great. I was looking at all the penetration when you snap the ball and hand it off, and there's a guy waiting there. It's interesting from what we saw today, and I don't know if anybody else sees it the same way. Even though we got 3 turnovers, I never felt like Buffalo was in trouble. It was almost like they're like, okay, it's whatever.
And you know what? The guy, I disagree with you with that as far as like Buffalo was in trouble, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, Buffalo might be looking ahead. They need to win this game. And I think they play Cincinnati next week. So kind of like Philly last week was looking ahead to Dallas. I was saying to myself, I'm like, you know what? We got an opportunity here. and we kept getting the ball. We kept getting the ball. But when you're a bad team and you ain't got no dogs, you can't put the ball in the end zone.
And that was the whole point, because it just seemed like for example, we get the turnover. Who's the linebacker that got the turnover, that last turnover? And we come right back around and run a quick screen. I'm going to Hallis Hall tomorrow, and I'm going to break in that joke, and I'm going to rip out every page that's got any play that's got even the letter S in it, screen, whatever. Because right after that, you would think that the next play is going to be, hey, let's just take one, throw one in the
test
air,
the water.
Or let's just test and see what's up. Let's say heat check. They threw a screen and lost yards. And I'm like, Buffalo, to me, at that particular point, I just think that when they did that, Buffalo's whole thing was like, oh, okay. And their defense didn't play too bad at all today.
And a couple of times when we got the ball back after a turnover, I was like, okay, Gessie, what are you calling? What are you calling? It's like these inside runs where we really, after the first quarter, Buffalo kind of shut our run game down. So it was like, okay. And I was actually surprised today because to open the game, the Bears actually was throwing the ball.
Right.
In these conditions, I was actually surprised. They didn't really start off like running the ball, like, okay, we're going to run the ball, which is what we're actually good at. Right. They actually were throwing the football. At one point, when they talked about the play calling, it was 11 passes and like 8 runs or something like that to begin the game. So I was actually surprised by that. And it wasn't sustainable. Justin didn't really run the ball today, which I was actually surprised because for some reason, and I really don't care, that he actually has a chance to break. His name is escaping me. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson. He actually has a chance to break the single season record. I actually thought he would have been running a lot more today, just because of the conditions. But the Bears actually came out running the football. I mean, throwing the football today.
Yeah,
they came out throwing the football today.
Yeah, I see a message here on Facebook said it was a good first half, but the OC called it horrible.
OC called this. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He actually did. He called a bad second half.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at some of the game stats that we have. Okay, let's bring that up. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I can't see it. Y'all see it though, right?
No, it just disappeared.
It just disappeared? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try this again.
Almost like this Dallas Cowboys team that I'm watching right here.
Oh, disappearing?
Yeah, they're disappearing.
It's 10-0 Philly.
With Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Yeah.
I am just utterly shocked.
Hey, that's a good Philly team, though. That's a good Philly team, though. Man, that is a good Philly team.
They're a well-oiled machine, man.
That's a good Philly team.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, we can see that. So, when you're looking at some of these game stats, we have Josh Allen. Hold on, let me get me back on the screen. Okay. Josh Allen had a kind of up and down game today. I got Josh Allen for 15 completions, 26 attempts, 172 yards, 2 TDs, and
2 interceptions.
Yeah. But he was able to pick it up when they really counted.
When they needed it, right?
Yeah, when they needed it. Justin Field was 15 out of 23, 119 yards, 1 passing TDs, 0 INTs. Bears gave up a lot of rushing yards. Singletary rushed for 106 yards on 12 attempps. I mean, that's about what's that? About 9 yards an attempt?
About 9 yards, almost 9. Yeah, almost 9 yards to carry. And not only that, Cook actually had, if he didn't have 100, he had 90 plus.
99.
So they gave up. They gave up almost over 200 yards rushing, which again, this defense is not surprising.
I think it was like 254.
Not surprising.
254.
Okay, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. D. Montgomery had a real strong first quarter. He looked real fresh, but he ended up with 16 carries for 62 yards But it seemed like after the first quarter, they kept running the same exact plays whenever they ran. Toss to me, I was just making fun of it. Toss left, toss right. Toss left, toss right. Screen left, screen right. Screen left, toss right, toss left. That's all they was doing. I mean, it was becoming very predictable. Those particular plays, which eventually shut down the running game. But Montgomery ran strong whenever he had the ball today.
Right.
But there was no consistency in what they was doing. Let's look at some other stats. I'm having a problem bringing it up on the screen. But the Bears gave up 20 first downs to the Bills. The Bears had 11 first downs. The Bills were 6 out of 11 on third down. The Bears were 2 out of 12.
2 out of 12.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
That's telling. That's telling right there. That's the ball game. 2 out of 12 on third down. That's telling.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant. As far as Buffalo's whole approach today, man, it was like all you can go by in that respect. The Bears are going to play hard, and they trying to win a game, although they don't have enough. But you could just look at that, man. It was just like, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. All we need to do is just get a pass rush. But something interesting on a whole nother note that Bernard mentioned was talking about we need to get a good 3 technique guy. That might have helped a little bit, but you see Josh Allen standing back there calling Uber Eats and everything. He was doing all type of stuff. He was like, Valet, we have my car ready for me. We'd be out here about 3:15. He had so much time to throw. And then when somebody finally came, he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
No pressure on the quarterback. And it's one of those things where I can't remember who came up with this, but I actually thought it was funny. They call it a chase. Not a quarterback pressure, not a sack, but a chase. They had a whole lot of chases. And it's just like they to the quarterback, but you can't get there. And all you're doing is chasing now. And every time they got there, Josh Allen found a way to maneuver his way out of position where they weren't going to be able to tackle him. So yeah, this I'm sounding like a broken record, but I need to go back. This front seven, it's bad. It's bad. And Bernard was talking about we need. Are you stupid?
It's good for us right now.
and Bernard was texting like, I don't know if we need a 3 technique or we need a pass rusher. We need both. We need both. We need somebody. We need somebody that can push the middle of the pocket. And if you push the middle of the pocket and you got somebody rushing from the outside, you might be able to get to the quarterback. But man,
change is coming. Change is coming.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And that's the catch-22 when you have a bad front seven like this, right? Because if you only had a pass rusher, all the quarterback does is just steps up if there's no push in the middle, and he still have plenty of time. But then if you only got pushed from at least if you got pushed from the middle, it's still harder for the quarterback to just step into his throws.
Yeah.
But if you don't have push on the middle and you're not getting anything on the outside, and the Bears front seven, with Sanborn out, they don't have enough hustle.
They sure don't.
Because at least with him, you saw him hustling to make tackles on the other side of the field, right? Other side on the offensive side.
Other side of
the field. Yeah. These guys they're standing in quicksand, right? They're not making a play until we get on the other side of the ball, other than the defensive backs. The linebackers are not going to make a play on the other side of the field. They wait for those tackles to come to them.
But you mentioned the defensive backs, and I'm gonna tell you, I was impressed because I believe Stephon Diggs only had like 2 catches.
Two catches, yeah. They kept asking, what happened to Stephon Diggs?
So I was impressed with that. I was impressed with that. And Buffalo, I give it to them. They're a good team, but they didn't impress me today. They didn't impress me today. They beat a team that they should have beat, but I wasn't impressed today. I wasn't impressed today by Buffalo.
Yeah.
Hey, I got one thing real quick, because we were going back and forth on this last week, talking about Justin Fields and his rushing, right? So Montgomery got 16 carries today for 62
yards.
Justin really didn't run the ball today. He had 7 carries.
7 for 12 yards or something.
For 11 yards.
11.
You see the results of when he does not run the football, right? and you look at the recipe for all of these teams that have these dual threat quarterbacks. It's built for them to run the ball. Actually, when you run the ball, you kind of eat up the clock. You open up some other things for him because they started running that RPO, which we were crying about maybe about 3 years ago. Like, man, why don't they run this RPO? They got this open and blah blah blah. And so we've been successful doing some things. We just missing a couple pieces. And what I was telling Martin on Facebook today, Pose is playing chess, not checkers, right?
Yeah.
And so what he's doing is he's maneuvering and putting in play. You know, at the draft last year, I'm like, all right, well, Brisker, Gordon, we'll see, But what he did was he acquired some hungry players, right? And off of what Jay saying, we don't have no dogs, but Chihuahua is still a dog, right? You know what I'm saying? he ain't no full grown Doberman that can watch the house yet, but he'll make we got a couple Chihuahua, right? And them dudes are scrappy. Every little mistake they make, I'm not gonna nitpick it because in the future in 3 years or so,
it's growth.
Man,
it's
they
growth.
Gonna be nasty. They gonna be nasty because they're getting it in right now. He said we got some
because that interception that Gordon had, that was a like a vet play.
Yeah, it was. It was a vet
play.
Yes,
that was a vet play, and Josh Allen didn't even see him, and he snuck back and dropped back into coverage and was able to make that pick. So they growing. It's growth, and that's all that we wanted for this season was growth. Everybody knew, we always had the high hopes that the Bears are going to be this, and for the most part, I like it because the Bears have been in games. They 35-13. That score really doesn't indicate how the Bears played. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They wind up right. They wind up getting blew out. But that's not what the game was. But as long as we continue to see the growth between the offense, as far as Justin Fields go, these young defensive backs, Kyler Gordon, Brisker. I like that kid Blackwell. I really like him.
I like him too, man.
I really like Blackwell. He's actually showed some stuff in the last couple of weeks. So if we can just build on that and get some pieces in place, I have never been a part of a 3-12 team that I'm still excited to watch.
Right.
I'm still excited to watch it because Justin Fields is must-see TV. He's must-see TV. He wasn't today, but he's must-see TV.
Mark put a comment about the defensive backs. Mark, I agree. You could see these defensive backs gonna be. I mean, think about it, they're still figuring it out right now. They're still getting up to game speed.
Right.
Next year, when Gordon get that pick and you got better players, guess what? That's pick 6 because you even got better players who know how to when when you get that pick, they're actually blocking for you versus they're kind of looking at you, kind of celebrating versus like, hey, get up the field and block. But I'm excited what I'm seeing from Gordon and Brisker. And it's one play, I just like how physical Brisker could get because Allen is not an easy guy to tackle.
No, he's not.
I seen him one play tackle Josh Allen by himself, knocked him out of bounds. Because Josh Allen is about what? 6'6",
6'5", 240,
250. Yeah, he's a big boy.
And he got some wheels on him too.
Right.
But you know what?
That's McNair-ish.
That's McNair-ish. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But what's telling? That's telling.
We will win one. Somebody said we will win one more game. Which game that's gonna be?
Which one? Yeah, because we.
And why? Why would we win that game?
The Lions or the Vikings?
Here's the funny part about it. Something I notice about vets, like when these rooks come up here, like Brisker and Gordon, when the vets, after you make a play and some of the vets on the other squad just look at you like this, you already know. Because them dudes was teeing off on dudes. it's like they're not scared to get in the box. They're not scared to get dirty. And the one thing I liked was one play where Gordon's in there and the scruff and the guy's almost down. He come from the back and it's like, bam, trying to punch the ball out. So at least he's got the hits principle, man. I like where we are now. And like I said, things are what they are right now, man. But we're going to be nice next year, man.
Hey, we could be watching Buster Screen out here running around in coverage with guys. I mean, hey, they not seriously just getting smoked off the line or any of that. I mean, they right there in coverage. So the secondary has gotten better. We just got to now move and focus up to the front.
Because it was one play. It was one play where Blackwell got beat.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden he recovered real quick.
I was like,
Josh Allen wanted to throw the ball, and he was like, no, I can't do that because this dude just recovered. So we got some young guys that's gonna be able to play in the National Football League. But this year, like I said, we knew what this was. We knew what this was. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the future.
This is a little bit off subject, but it's not really off subject. I am glad that the Bears are rebuilding because if I look at the players that I know a lot of people say, if we'd have had him, her, not her, but him.
Hey, you never know.
Hey, right.
Right. But you know what? All I saw, if you look at this to me, maybe you get 3 more wins, but what's that? That's allowing this team to stay in mediocrity. That's exactly what happens. You would have brought back some of the same players, and maybe you draft differently. I mean, definitely one of the corners. Who is it? Who was the first pick? Gordon was the first pick.
Gordon. Mm-hmm.
So you
Brisker
don't have
was
Brisker. If you make this pick, Brisker was acquired because of the trade of Khalil Mack. They picked. That was how they got him because that was that pick for Khalil Mack. So you definitely don't have Brisker. But the Bears fans, what we do have to do is stop being happy with mediocrity. That's all this team would have been with them same players because you could see offensively they still would not have had enough talent to compete.
Which is why I'm the Bears have been rebuilding for a long time, but it's one of those things where they rebuilding, but they not rebuilding. They like we're gonna put a Band-Aid here, we'll put a Band-Aid there, and maybe it'll all work out. This is the first time where they've actually stripped this team down, which is what needed to happen. They needed to strip this team down so they can actually rebuild. And as you can see now, as right now we hold the second pick in the draft, $110 million in cap space. Not saying that Poles is actually going to use that, which is another show, because what we need to do is start locking up some of these players that's coming up, like Jalen Johnson. They need to try to lock him up before he try to get too greedy like Roquan and be like, okay, well, I feel like I'm supposed to be the highest paid corner. Lock these guys up now so we can build for the future.
We don't have a lot of those though.
And what do you think about Mark?
We have a couple. You got Jalen Johnson, maybe Darnell Mooney. You might want to come to him and be like, "Hey, look."
I'm saying you talking about reconstructing the contracts. I'm saying we don't have a lot of them.
No, I'm not talking about reconstructed. I'm not talking about reconstructed. I'm talking about upping players. The only person that I feel like needs to be reconstructed is Eddie Jackson. We need to kind of like maybe reconstruct his contract. Because I think his cap hit is like 19.8 next year. So maybe come to him and be like, hey, Eddie, you want to restructure your contract? But I'm talking about re-signing like a Jalen Johnson or Darnell Mooney. And you're looking at these players like Darnell Mooney is a 5th round draft pick. So he can't come to you and be like, yeah, I'm finna be a restricted free agent or unrestricted free agent. I need such and such. You was a 5th round draft pick. You're not going to get the same amount of money that a 1st round draft pick got. So you go to these players. You go to these players and try to lock. You go to these players and try to lock them up. Contract extensions. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm just saying. Tyreek Hill was a 5th round draft pick.
Yeah, but Tyreek Hill production is a hell of a lot more.
Oh, he's a big
then
dog.
he's a dog. He ain't no chihuahua. He ain't no chihuahua.
He's not no mutt.
Right.
Right. He's a big dog. Hey, I just want to say this. Last year and the year before, when I was saying we need to get rid of this player, get rid of this player, get rid of this player, I felt like I was walking on Good Friday with a cross, about to get nailed because everybody crucify him.
Right.
Crucify him.
How dare you say that?
Bears. Yep. I want to kill him.
Yep.
I'm getting threatening fan mail from Bears Banner and all of that. And everybody now it's like the Blues Brothers when they in there. James Brown, they say, "I can see the light. I can see the light." I just kept saying, trust the process, man. And when change happens, people get nervous because they don't see the outcome of change. That's what my doctor is in, just so everybody out there know. But you don't see the outcome of change and the effects of change until you actually go through the change. And so now we're going through the change, and people like, well, wait a minute, this no-name dude is actually pretty good. Hold on, who the hell is that? And wait a minute, this dude is serviceable. Wait,
Right.
how did we get this dude? And like I said,
Braxton Jones.
Poles is out there like he got $100 and got to get 20 players.
Yep.
He out there finding guys that can actually fit where we don't have to blow our whole cap space and our money. And it was basically an audition this year.
Yeah,
we didn't win a lot of games, but we were in.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what do you think about this comment by Mark Chin?
With the Khalil Mack?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
The only one doing anything this year, period, and he costs too much for a mediocre team.
What is he doing? He had 3 sacks. He had 3 sacks in the first game of the season. I think he got 7. Could somebody check out? I might need to check that. How many sacks he got for the season? He had 3 sacks in the first game.
Go back and look at the comment though.
It was about 9. He said for
Akeem Hicks. What is Akeem Hicks doing?
He missed 5 games this year.
He missed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What his comment is, he's the only one out of that group that's really doing something, right?
Right.
You're saying,
he still costs too much.
But I'm saying, you're saying, what is he doing?
What is he doing?
In case you guys don't know, that's coming to America, y'all.
Right.
I know some people argue, say he was a Pro Bowl selection this year, but the Pro Bowl is a popularity contest as well. Some players, once they make it, they always get picked, right? And sometimes they can have subpar seasons, and they'll still make it because the fans know their name, and sometimes the other players have respect for it. So sometimes the first time to make it is the hardest time to make it, but after some players make it, they almost kind of shoe in if they play enough games. That's not to say he's not a good player, anything, but I agree. Why would you overpay somebody who's not going to be around when you get good? That's
when you get good.
And I agree. And I agree 100%. I agree 100% with Quick because, see, here's the deal. A lot of times, us as fans, we look at players and they look at how good they're. Oh, this is that. But you have to look at it. You have to kind of split between what's tangible for your team, what's viable, what's good from a business sense, as well as a player. Now, say Khalil Mack. Don't get me wrong. When he's 100% healthy, Pro Bowl player, great player. But our return on interest was jacked for him. I mean, he did his thing by still playing when he was hurt, but we spent all this money on a guy that's getting injured. So people got mad when he left. They got mad when Roquan left. But if you look at the bigger picture, what Poles is doing is actually physically going out here, flying out to these universities, renting cars, hitting 3 or 4 spots, looking for little diamonds in the rough. And now he's rebuilding the team, and you're starting to see the guys he picked and look at people he picked up. It's like you've never even heard these guys are playing. So you have to look at it from a viable standpoint because we if he didn't do what he did, we wouldn't have $150 million in cap space, and we just be
Jack Sanborn.
Yes,
as an unrestricted free agent, who thought that he would give us this production? Almost the same production that Roquan was given as a first-round draft pick. I tell you, you're a damn lie to your face if you say
right.
You better not say, "Oh yeah, I knew Sandberg was gonna be."
Right.
But Mike. To be honest, this is not to devalue Roquan, but he's actually playing better in the Bears this year than Roquan was playing this year. And that's not to say he's a better player. He was actually making hustle plays that Roquan was not making. Roquan was actually, and I know sometimes people get sensitive about this. Roquan was making a lot of plays down the field.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
And
beyond the line of scrimmage.
Second level stuff.
Right.
Sorry, him going at least hustling and getting plays on the other side of the fields. In every game, I can say he started in, he was playing.
Right, you see his number.
There was too many games with Roquan, and I liked him, and I didn't want them to trade him. There was too many games where I was like, is Roquan playing? Right? I had a lot of questions where I'd be like, was he even playing? Right? Because it was games where he'll show up on the stat sheet, but you didn't see him making a play.
And Bernard, you can say the same thing about Robert Quinn. Again, all I'm saying is I understand how Ryan Poles was like, okay, you know what? I need to do this. I need to get rid of this guy. I need to get rid of this guy because they're not going to resign with me. So let me get some draft capital and let's try to make this team better. So I'm don't get me wrong, Bears banner people. I love Roquan Smith. I like Robert Quinn. I didn't think it was a good signing when they did it because of the money. But then last year when he had the 18.5, I'm like, okay, yeah, he showed up. But
3 seasons
out of 3 seasons. Well, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, he's playing middle, which is actually Rose's better position. Yeah, he is. He is.
I agree.
He is.
But Jay,
Roquan.
You know what, Jay? I would play the church music for you now, but I think Tammy beat me up, man. That's 100% church, man. That is 1,000,000,000% true. And I think a lot of times what happens is people try to, in their own mechanisms will say, "Oh, see, we heard them on that. They like talk about, he ain't better than him." It's nobody saying that he's better than him. But
it's not about that.
I mentioned this like some time ago. I was saying, you get a guy who's been in a 3-4 defense. Now you get him to come over to a 4-3 defense. He could be as athletic as all get go. And my personal opinion was a lot of plays he made when he was here when they transitioned to the 4-3 was because he's an athletic freak. But cognizance of the 4-3, he was still kind of doing that. But you look at Jack Sanborn, who came from a 4-3 situation. He was never the fastest guy, never the strongest guy, never the biggest guy. But you can ask that dude right now, what players on page 30? Oh, jet sweep. This is what we do. You get guys like that, they kind of get a jump on athletic guys because they already know where the play is going. So was it, like I said, I like Roquan as well too, but in this situation, who's to say that Roquan was going to sign with us? Or he might have been a situation where, I tell you what, you don't give me my money, I'm going to sit out. And now you got this grown player that's eating up money. And
not only that, because I'm really still interested to see where Roquan Smith is going to be playing next year.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be.
That's just my personal opinion.
He said he wasn't going to resign Roquan for making his first Pro Bowl. Congratulations to Roquan.
Congrats.
I like Roquan, and as much as I'll praise a player, I'll criticize them at the same time. I don't think he was given effort. I think he checked out kind of this year. And then when he got to Baltimore, that's why sometimes you have to watch players. Sometimes when the players don't want to be a place, they check out.
They check out.
And then they go to a new place, and then the former team, as fans, we'd be like, wow, see, we shouldn't have.
Why he didn't do that when he was here? Right.
Correct. Right. And sometimes because the player didn't checked out mentally. But anyway, hey, let's get some grades for the offense. I give the offense a C. No, I'm going to get offense a D today. I don't think they did anything.
I will give them a D as well. The play calling, especially in the second half, was really bad. So I would give Getsy a D today.
Who was the brother that was on YouTube that was talking about that we were going to respond to? That was talking about it's more of the coaches and stuff. That dude sound like Nostradamus right now. I ain't gonna even lie.
What's the guy's name?
Can you finish?
I don't know too, but I'm not gonna even lie on that because I was looking. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't think it's as much as the coaches. And I actually sat down and thought about it. And then the exclamation point was today when they get the turnover and they go up and throw a doggone screen.
Yeah. The plays to Khalil Herbert. The plays to Khalil Herbert today. I was just like, okay, I don't understand these play calls. Because I don't know what Khalil Herbert's stats were, but I know he couldn't have had more than 20 yards running the ball today. He couldn't have had more than 20 yards running the ball, if that.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that. So yeah, a D for sure for the offense.
Okay, I give it. I'm gonna get offensive D as well too, man. It just seemed like that after that first play, after that first drive, we score. I'm like, okay, we all right, and it just got progressively worse, man. It was just like watching somebody pull out like all your hair. If you got a fro with some tweezers, like by the strand, just like, it's like, God, make it stop. Like deep, but damn,
right.
Hey, what you got on the grade offense? Quick.
Hey man, you guys are grading backwards, man. Anything that gets us closer to keeping that second pick, I'm giving them an A+.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all Quick talking about.
Anybody that wants us to try to win right now, I'm looking at you sideways, dude. We got 3 wins, and y'all like, man, we could have won that game. No, the hell we couldn't and shouldn't have even been trying to win, dude. Somebody's like, we're gonna win one more game this year. I'm like, nah, I might go down there with a sniper gun my damn self. We're not winning nothing. We're not trying to win anything. We just
I just hate it
up to next year. A+ for the offense. Woo! There we go.
I just hate it.
Oh, Houston
I just hate it.
Y'all. Houston won.
I told y'all I picked Houston. I picked Houston today. Yes, they did. I picked Houston today.
Wow.
I picked Houston today.
Hey,
but I'm gonna tell y'all the only thing I hate about us losing out is that we're gonna lose it. We'll lose that. If we lose out, it's a 10-game losing streak to end the season. And
we're running a mass unit, Jay. We don't have anybody. Everybody's hurt, man. How many receivers are hurting DBs right now?
As far as a morale standpoint, that could probably hurt. I mean, and I know it's year to year. You know, you got some teams, Bengals, they went from 4-12 to winning the Super Bowl, or going to the Super Bowl and all that. But and I think it's a personal thing for me, just because I played the game and I just know to go out on a 10-game losing streak is a morale buster.
Yeah, man. But if you're on that Tinder app or whatever it is, and you swipe, get 9 people, and all 9 of them look like sea donkeys, you're gonna be dejected until, like, say, Angela Bassett pop up. You don't even care about the other 9 when she say yeah. So I get what you're saying, though, man.
You know, so that's my thing. You know, that's my thing.
I get it.
But I get it.
On a mission, man. We on
the mission.
Let me tell you what's deflating. When you walk in the locker room, you're like, who the hell is that? Who the hell is that?
Yeah.
I got to throw the ball to who? Oh, man. You might not even know the routes, man.
Your name sound like.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I saw some people today on the field. I'm like, okay, like you just said, who the hell is that? Number 83. I don't even know who that is.
The tight end. What's his name? Whoever he threw the ball to, I said,
Griffin
on the team.
No, Griffin been on the team. But I saw
ball on the normal.
I saw a wide receiver. I saw a wide receiver number 83 today. I'm like, okay, I pride myself on. Right. That was Daz Newsome number. So I'm like, I know Daz Newsome ain't on this team. Who the hell is number 83? So that's where we at this point in the season with the Bears.
Everybody's hurt. I told you before the show, you get an injury. You get an injury. Oprah was out there just giving everybody an injury. You get an injury.
Everybody get an injury.
Right. So right now, I mean, they're doing the best they can with what they got. The roster was already shot before we started the season. And now we got guys that was actually contributing hurt.
But the thing about it, I give them respect because they do give 100% effort. And that's all you can ask. As bad as they are, they still give an effort. It ain't like nobody out there like, you know, I done gave up or they planning their vacation. them guys out there giving 100%, and that's all. That's all you can ask, man.
We used to be talking about guys out here stealing money.
Yeah,
like
right.
You're not saying that this year. It's like okay.
Hey, I don't know. I didn't know who number 83 was, but I bet you Daz was at the crib like this, man.
Who got my number? Who is that got my number?
He doing this.
I think Daz.
I wish I was still playing football.
I believe that. I think Daz is on the 49ers. I think he's on a practice squad.
I know he got picked by somebody, and he was on their practice squad. I don't know who it was, but yeah.
I think it's 49. Hey, let me finish these stats right quick, and then it'll kind of cover some of the defensive stuff.
Yeah.
The total yards, the Bills' total offensive yards was 426 yards. The Bears 209. Bills threw for 172 yards. The Bears threw for 129 yards. The total turnovers was 3 by the Bills and 2 by the Bears. The Bears actually had 2 sacks today. The Bills had 1 sack today.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow,
right?
The Bears had 2 sacks. That's interesting. Who had those sacks? I didn't even see those, and I watched the entire game. I don't even know who had the sacks.
Velus Jones.
But
Jaquan Brisker.
But the great
Brisker had 1.
And he actually leads the Bears. He actually leads the team. Your rookie safety leads the team in sacks.
That's like 4
your
now,
rookie safety leads the team in sacks. But if I had to grade the defense today, I would give them a D- because the Bears just can't stop the run. And it was so obvious at a lot of times that the Bills was actually running the football, and they just could not stop the run. So if I had to grade the Bears defense today, they get a D-. So I'm handing out D's for dumb all across the board.
Hey, the Bills was 1 for 1 on 4th down efficiency. The Bears was 1 of 4 on 4th down efficiency. So the Bears went for 4 times on 4th down and only converted 1 time.
Yeah, but that was because of the weather conditions too. They was at a point on the field where it's like, okay, I can't kick the field goal, so we might as well try to go for it. So I won't knock them on that, because the field conditions was so bad.
Yeah,
you said a bad word. You said field goal.
I said field conditions.
So let's get to this real quick. Let's get to this. Santos has hit 43 consecutive field goals inside of 40 yards, right?
Yes, he has.
And he's missed 5 extra points.
I can't understand the concept. I can't understand that concept.
But we're supposed to be nurturing and caring to him.
I can't understand the concept. I can't understand the concept.
Crucify him. Because Caro, the dude who he took his place, who was that? Caro? He wasn't bad.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad. Anybody better than Cody Parkey, but how do you miss 5 extra points?
You don't mention that guy's name on this show.
Ooh,
that's a no. Don't say that name.
Santos. It's the same damn thing right now.
Don't say that name on this show.
We done lost 3 games because of this kicker here. Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Christmas time. He probably out there.
Yeah, he did pretty good today handling the weather when he did have the opportunity. But along that note, as far as what you mentioned, Mike, I looked it up a few days ago, and he's actually tied for first for missed extra points. He's missed 5, and there's another kick. I believe his last name is Johnson, who's missed 5.
And
brother.
And then there's 4 more kickers who have missed 3. Everybody else in the league who's active players have only missed 1. Yeah. So now the interesting thing is the guy who's tied with him, he's actually is about 80, somewhere around 88%. Santos had the lowest percentage of active kickers as far as extra points. He's kicking at 82%. And then you have about 5 more guys who came in and kicked less than 5 extra points. So they most likely just came in and kick for a kicker that was hurt. Those guys actually are kicking at 50%, what actually has affected the average making the extra point average go around 90. But if you factor out the 5 who only kick less than 5, and those 6 guys are guys who actually bringing the average to 90, because if you factor them out, the average extra point, they're kicking about 95% without those 6 guys and those other 5 bringing it down, because they actually factor everybody into it. But if you only take the 32 active kickers, they're kicking at 92%, and Santos kicking at 82% in the extra point. And I know field goals. I mean, not field goal. I know field conditions, wind, and all that is affecting it. But that's just information.
Wait. Did he miss today? Because it was really bad today.
No. He hit everything. He only got 1 touchdown, so he only had 1 extra point.
Yeah, but he had a field goal.
Yeah, he had a field goal.
Two field goals, I think.
2 field goals.
Yeah, but he only missed 2 field goals all year, so he's actually doing good on field goals. It's the extra points.
That's what I'm saying. So we had the excuse of treacherous weather conditions. The guy from the Bills missed 3 today, maybe.
He missed everything.
Yeah. But now we got Santa Claus, who's 100% today. So I'm like, either we talked about consistency. Dude, be consistent. That's all I'm asking you for. You can't miss 5 extra points, which are closer than 40-yard field goals. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but at this point in the season, we got 2 games now. They was talking about it earlier in the week on Sports Talk Radio. They was talking about, do you bring in an extra kicker to challenge? I'm like, okay, we 3-12. You ain't got to bring no kicker in. But when you come in next year, you have to bring competition to see what happens.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to get shots out. We got a kid from our area, from St. Rita High School, that's going to the University of Alabama to be their kicker next year.
Oh, wow.
I've seen this kid kick off from the 40 and kick the ball through the uprights, right? This kid I can't think of his name right now, but if you look it up, he's going to be the starting kicker at Alabama. And the reason why I know, because the kicker from this year just went in the transfer portal.
Wow.
He's already going. He's starting classes in January. I can't think of his name, but this kid here is phenomenal. Shouts out to my boy JJ Stranger over at St. Rita, who keep putting these kickers. He kicked at Northwestern in the Rose Bowl back in the 90s. But this kid is going to be the kicker at Alabama. Maybe he can come in after 2 years and take Santos.
And take Santos' spot.
So, hey, I think we got 1 D for the defense. I'm actually going to give the defense a C today.
Oh, come on, Nutty.
I'm going to give them a C, even though they gave up 35 points, but they actually created 3 turnovers that the offense did nothing to capitalize on it. Because if they capitalize on them, the score probably is not 35. That's the only reason I'm giving them a C, because they created 3 turnovers, and those were not just like incidental turnovers. One was they
was legit.
Right. There was a great read on the ball. There was a good jump on another pass. So those were legit turnovers. So I give them up to a C only because of the turnovers.
I give them you know what? I would give them a C too. And the reason why I would give them a C is they did just enough at the particular time to kind of keep us in the game. We just couldn't score. And after that, the floodgates came open. I'm not saying that they played stellar, but for them to play against one of the best teams in the league, regardless of how good, bad, or indifferent they showed up, they played good enough for that period of time. And we had all the opportunities until we started throwing screens. So
and just think, the last 2 weeks we played the first place team in the NFC.
Yep.
And today we played the first place team in the AFC.
Because we're not even supposed to even hold court against teams like this.
Not making excuses for the Bears, because again, sounded like a broken record. We knew they was gonna be bad, but they've held their own. They really have. For to say our roster is so talentless, they've held their own this season. And I've never been excited about a losing season that I have this week, that I have this year. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Okay, and like you said, pointed out, Jay, this was a one-score game going into the fourth quarter.
Going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Going into the fourth quarter, it was a one-score game. The Bears are 1-8. They are 1-8 in one-score games this year. Right. So just think, with a little bit more talent, what would the Bears' record be? Mm-hmm. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I believe in polls. People talking Martin. I'm
don't say that too loud. He'll sound
right. I'm shouting out to you. He's only had one draft, but I'm actually a believer because he's broken this team down to rebuild it, and he's legitimately broke it down. Not put a Band-Aid here or there. He's legitimately broke it down, and I just want to see what he's gonna come up with.
But you know what? And then too, sometimes it takes somebody, quote unquote, from the outside to look in and see what you really have. Because Poles wasn't a part of this team last year. So those guys were able to look in. And when you're in a situation for so long and you've lost and there's so much dysfunction, sometimes you've adjusted so much to where you don't really think it's a problem. And sometimes it takes somebody to come from the outside and look in. And in my opinion, am I angry that they rebuilt? No, because what they're doing now when they got rid of the players and did the stuff that they did, the record may not be indicative of what he's doing, but he's properly breaking it down. You see pieces that we really have that are great. Our safeties. You got our cornerback is safety. Our guys, Tevin Jenkins, Braxton Jones, Justin. We got guys. Now you'll probably have some other people like some vets who are actually looking around at what we have and not at our records like, you know what, they might be kind of nice and they may be willing to come. So we'll see.
Yeah, because you're looking at a team that was 8-8.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ran it back again. Mm-hmm. It was 8-8. You ran it back again, and it was 6-11. Okay, I don't see the same reason. Why would you run it back again?
Bring it back again, right?
For a fourth time with almost the same exact unit. That doesn't mean the individual parts were not good, but as a unit, they was trending backwards. They was pretty much the same team. Now, the confusing thing is the second time the 8-8 got them to be a playoff team, right? But that was just because they added an extra team
that first year,
right? Yeah. They added an extra game.
That's extra game, and they added more teams to the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, so it made it look like, okay, they get 2 playoffs, but no, that's what I don't get either. Why would you keep running the same thing back to get a different results? There wouldn't have been nothing much different, and you would have got it. But let's move to special teams and wrap this up. Special teams, they did their job today. They had some good kickoff returns. They didn't miss any extra points. They didn't actually blow anything today. So doing their job, I'm gonna give them, I guess, a B because they really didn't do anything. They didn't break anything, didn't return anything, but they didn't screw up today.
Velus Jones didn't fumble. They get a B+.
Oh, he did fumble.
Oh, damn. I take that back. Oh, but he didn't lose it. Like, that was did y'all see that fumble from last week? That was the craziest thing. He fumbles, and instead of the ball bounced out of bounds, it bounced.
It just stood right there.
It's right here. I'm like, dude, that must be a Charlie Brown Lucy moment right there, man.
It just stuck.
Don't happen, man. Good grief. I give him a B+, man. I give it to him because they
I give him a B. I'll give him a B+ as well. Velus Jones had some good returns today. Trenton Gill had a 67-yard punt.
Yeah.
That early in the game that put Josh Allen and the Bills back. So special teams was okay today. No missed extra points, no missed field goals. So I that was probably the brightest unit on the field today. So I give him a B+.
Yeah.
I'm giving him a D for trying to win. Velus Jones almost breaking kicks and Santos ain't missing points. I'm like, wait, what team are you on here, man? What are we doing here, people? They trying to play for contracts, and I'm trying to play for draft position.
Hey, man, Dr. Quick, the Blackbird, and them 2 old men in the Muppet Show, they should sit up in the balcony.
Yeah.
And a nice dress. It's only $9.99. It's a cheap dress. Look at it. She's got a try.
Hey, anybody trying to win right now, I'm against y'all.
You're against them?
Right.
You're against everybody. Say everybody.
I'm looking at the Detroit Lions, who suck for years, and they got a coach that came in and said we're gonna bite their toenails off, kick them in the kneecap, elbow them in the head. They went out and got Jared Goff, who was basically dead in LA, some other unknown pieces, and they out here. They lost today, but man, I
was gonna say they got mollywopped today though. They got mollywopped today.
They've been mobbing
by the Carolina Panthers.
Hey,
yeah. So
that's because the Carolina Panthers got the black guy as the coach, man. You're supposed to win. All brothers supposed to win. Even Lovey won today. Come on, man.
That was my upset. That was my upset of the week. I was like, Houston is not gonna go one win for the whole season. And
it was right. One more, so we can get in there.
It was right for the taking. They was playing the Texans, who Ryan Tannehill again can't stay healthy, so they was starting the rookie. So that was an upset I did pick today.
So because if we both end up with three wins, we end up going in front of them, I believe, because a tie is considered a win. When you come to this type of separation, I believe.
Yeah, but we did beat them, so I don't know how that. I don't know how that goes.
I don't know how that's gonna go.
I don't know how that's gonna go. Yeah. As long as we got the top three, I don't care.
We always
as long as we top three,
we don't have.
But with what I've seen so far with polls, and as far as the draft situation is concerned, whether we go 2 or 3, I feel comfortable with who he picks.
Well, I ain't gonna say that until the draft comes because I need to see. And like Bernard say, you know what? As much as I like Will Anderson, and it's going off into some whole college stuff, as much as I like Will Anderson, that kid from Georgia, the defensive tackle, the 3 technique, we might need that a little bit more than we need a pass rush for real. Because our front 7 is bad, and it starts up front. And when you can't stop the run, you're very vulnerable to being beat.
Yeah, because you look at it, sometimes players come up that be traded that you don't expect to get traded. Just like Chubb was traded mid-season to the Dolphins. Yeah. Because why? Denver looked at it and said, hey, we're not about to be competing this year. So hey, we gonna trade our pass rusher. So there's an opportunity. So I'm kind of leaning with what you're saying, Jay, because I'm leaning more towards a 3 technique, and I may change my mind when the season over. I don't know. And you may be able to get a pass rusher that somebody may trade. Yeah, somebody may just say, "Hey, I want out."
And you also may be able to get a 3 technique in free agency. I can't call the kid's name in Washington. The kid in Washington, he's a free agent. He's gonna be a free agent, and for the Commanders, he I can't call his name right now, but. And that we got some money that we can actually kind of throw out there. So it's gonna be interesting, man. And we can't really predict nothing until that time comes. But I'm excited about it.
It's gonna be great, guys. I'm just letting you guys know it's gonna be a great time here in Chicago. We're gonna be sitting back and we're gonna be like Dicka Bears, the Bears, Dicka Bears. That's all we're gonna be saying. So right now, we don't need to win any games. We need to stay right where we're at so we can pick up who we need to get. I mean, winning a game right now does what?
It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing.
I don't need my morale boosted right now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, as a fan, it's cool because I was sitting on my couch watching the game today, and this first time I missed a game, home game in a long time, y'all. It was too cold. I wasn't trying to do it. So I was sitting on my couch today at halftime. I was like, can the Bears actually win this game? And then I'm thinking like, nah, they can't. But I'm like, can they? And I would have been satisfied with a win. But as you say, Mike, what does a win do? What does a win do? It doesn't do anything.
What?
What does a win do?
Hey, but let me ask you guys a question from a morale standpoint. I know they say, oh, you want to win the games because, you want to still have a winning culture. I get where they're coming from, but you got to ask yourself a question. If you lost 9 in a row and you in the middle of a game and you playing hard and all of a sudden you kind of look like you ain't going to win the game, what does that do for your morale?
Now, right. You know what? And a lot of these guys are not going to be here next year anyway. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that is so true.
Yeah,
that is so true.
I don't need to be moraling with them.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't they just do like them other teams and just sit all these star players and let?
I'm like, if I'm Justin right now, I'm sitting there sending posts, some YouTube videos of some guys I may want around here. Hey, you see this guy play last week in college? Hey, you know they got somebody over here, but you know, hey,
right.
You know that.
Pretty much.
That's it. Hey, if we can stay in the top 3 picks, we're gonna be all right.
Right. Hey, please hit the subscribe button if you're watching us out there in YouTube. Hit the red button at the bottom. We'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on Facebook and YouTube today, watching Bears banner as the Bears fall 35-13 to the Buffalo Bills. So we is next week games? Are they Saturday games too, or are they on Sunday?
I believe
Saturday's game. Yeah, we play the Lions on the first.
On the first. Okay,
yeah, that's Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah,
it's Sunday.
It's split. It's back split.
Oh, yeah. They started creeping in some of the game.
Yeah, they took a lot of them away for Christmas.
Right. Thank everybody for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.